It is still this morning on ITV, bringing us to our second talking point. We'll be looking at the Federal Executive Council, where a couple of them have resigned following the directive by the president, telling them that if you have purchased form or you have ambition to run for any of the political office, please resign. Resign, It's a good one. Section 8412 is in action here, and we somehow are saying that the National Assembly did a good job there, irrespective of the fact that it is still before the court. In fact, the president and his Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation have gone to Supreme Court to seek redress on that particular section. The judicial arm of the government can they tell the legislative arm how to legislate. We'll get to know that when the Supreme Court, look at that suit and gives judgment. Well, to look at this discussion, I have with me a political analyst, Samuel Chimene. Very good morning to you.
Thank you.
Resign if you have intention to contest for any political office. How did you see that?
A very welcome development from the president. Very, very. The people didn't need to wait, until the president gives an order, because there is a constitution provision that says if you have an ambition, you resign. Not just resign, you have days, at least 30 days, because you need to make your intentions, you need to prepare.
That was the previous one. This one is 150 days.
Okay, fine. So you have just to go. Now come to think of it, the 147 section that gave the president, the executive power to appoint ministers. And what is he appointing the ministers for? The ministers are there to support the activities of the president as advisory body to the president. And you know that once they are there, their duty is to ensure that whatever the president needs as at a call, he gets it. And now you have an ambition. You can't serve two masters. When you are appointed as the minister, your core loyalty, is to the president, because in a normal situation, the president can choose to appoint somebody who is not even a member of the party. We saw that during the late Musa Yar'Adua, where he had to also bring in people from other political parties. All right. Then the president can also decide to appoint who was not a card-carrying member of the party, but notice that this person can help him in carrying out the activities as the president. So that's why you hear, they get technocrats. So your total loyalty is to the president.
The technocrat has to even come from the recommendation of the politician.
Yeah, but it's not a card-carrying member of the party. So that shows you that your duty is to ensure that the president, maybe in the area he has asked you, the president is not found wanting, because it's not just that. That's why he has you there. You are the eye of the president. You are advising the president. You are the one, overseeing, and of course, in terms of policy making, in a particular thing. That's why in the Federal Executive Council meetings, it is the ministers that present proposals for each of the ministries. It's not the president. Now, once somebody has an ambition, it means there's going to be a divided attention. There's going to be divided loyalty. It is either mine first. You are no longer seeing that interest of the president, because you are appointed to ensure that the president succeed, and not that you are just going there to now make name for yourself. First assignment is that my principal must succeed. And so if the president is failing, in any of these aspects, maybe in power or in education or whatever, Nigerians will look at the president first, but we should also look at the minister, because that is his responsibility to ensure that nothing goes wrong in the ministry he or she is manning. All right, so for the fact that you have decided now to make yourself very popular, show yourself that, okay, I am matured enough, to stand on my own. I think the first thing moral should tell you is that, no, I can't compete with my master. So you honorably resign. For their waiting until the president have to give order has also flouted other constitutional roles. They are all in APC. If you also check the APC constitution, you also gave room that once you have that ambition, you have now interest to run for an election, okay, you have to resign. So you can't hold the two positions. You can't eat your cake and have it. That's what it means. So for them to have waited until the president gives an order for them to go, I think it was not honorable. For instance, why did the Minister for Education, State Education, throw in his resignation? Almost immediately the president made the pronouncement. It means he was already ready. So I think it would have been much better that you didn't wait.
Minister of State Education.
Yes, Minister for State.
He has done that since 28 April.
No, but no, we just heard that he has resigned.
He said he did that since 28th of April.
So why was he going to the office?
Maybe the president didn't make that known. According to him, we followed him through, and that's what he said.
We were looking at what we got when the resignation was made public. So if you secretly have, not secretly right now, if you have tendered your resignation, okay, if you have done that, yes, the honorable thing is that you stop going. You stop going.
Yeah, you have a point.
Yes, you stop going. Not that, okay, let me wait if they will reconsider me, or, because you have made up your mind. You have a higher target. Somebody shouldn't tell you, you have seen the Constitution.
Now that we have seen this resignation, there are those who didn't resign. And, the discussion is that they chicken out. It appears that they are not even popular. They are trying to just fly kites. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I wouldn't say much about it. Sincerely, I wouldn't say much about it because the president has already made it such that most of them, they think they are riding on the wings of the president. All right, that's what they felt. I'm sure that's because, in 2015, most people who won election in Nigeria rode on that wind of Buhari, yes, the president. And so if the president is no longer backing them, I think the honorable thing also is also...
He has never backed them. He has always been saying go and test the popularity.
Yes. There's a body language. In politics, they always talk about body language. That's why a lot of them have also taken, I call it undue advantage, by the relationship they have with the president. Most of them can brag, when you go to certain political meetings, probably when they go back to their states or their constituents and see how, they brag about their relationship with the president. With me, the president is secure. Whatever I tell the president, that's what the president is going to do.
So, and he's not that kind of person.
No, how would all of us know that? All of us wouldn't know that. Your relationship, when most of the pictures they post on TV or on their social media handles are maybe where the president is giving them ear on the public functions and all that. And so they have to just ride on that. Yes, they have to ride on that. So for them to have chickened out, let's use the word now, chickened out. Well, it means that also they have also tested that, look, if I don't go on the name of Mr. President Muhammad Buhari, then I go nowhere. And of course,
so why don't
the honorable thing is that, yes, the honorable thing to do, you understand, the honorable thing for them to have done is that, in the first place, yes, there's nothing wrong in getting an ambition. There's nothing wrong. Try and error. Sometimes life is risk.
But should that be try and error in politics?
No. Life is risk. It's like, let me just try out my popularity. Okay, it's a game that anybody who has entered Nigerian politics, all right, doesn't want to live again because he tastes the pudding and doesn't want to live again. You know what it means? So that for 7 years, nothing comes from your pocket. Now we are talking about fuel crisis. You don't feel it because it is just there. Some people will even beg you to come and take. All right, maybe the NEPA, there's nothing, practically nothing that is coming out from your pocket.
Perhaps if you're also flying.
So you are flying, everything is there. You buy a recharge card for calls, it is on there.
Yeah.
So
at times you don't even buy recharge card.
So that things,
they know your number, they just
load you. And so they've seen these things and nobody wants to leave. And they want to remain there. So I don't think that there's anything wrong. You know, if somebody says, I think we have barely 1 year to go. Let me also try if I will continue in this. And then you try, just go some distance and discover that no, the road is not as easy as I see it.
People already on the ground.
Exactly. So I think this is not bad. It's not bad. What is bad is that if they have even, what they are trying to do, remaining in the appointive, not just, somebody appointed you. You are appointed by the president. You are not elected by the people. Okay, so standing there to run for an election, it means that you are robbing on the head of the masses who didn't appoint you. They didn't appoint you. They didn't elect you. They only elected the president. And the president felt that, oh, Mr. A or Mr. B or Mr. C, can help me succeed in this assignment. And so when you are no longer serving the interests of the president, you are also helping the president succeed in the interest of the masses. The honorable thing is that you just go. Yeah.
Except for the vice president.
The vice president is elected. The constitution talked about the elected. Yes. It's an appointed position.
For the vice president.
Yes, except for the vice president. It's the same thing at the state level.
For those that are contesting that same position, that have resigned now, they have ample time to actually, go around and discuss and hold meetings.
Definitely. Definitely.
Don't you think that may somehow limit the opportunity of the vice president?
No. Now look at it. Look at it.
Because he still has to do his job.
It is now a game of of course it's popularity. It's popularity. Now look at it. If they don't go, governance suffers. Because ministers the vice president is not managing any of the ministries. Of the 24 ministries or thereabout, the vice president is not managing any of those ministries. The ministers are the ones who are in charge of these ministries. Now, every day, if you see how tasky most of their offices are, now it means that files that are supposed to get the ministerial approval will not, because the minister is nowhere in the office or to be found because he's everywhere. The vice president is not in any of those capacity. The president, as long as the president is around, if there are little or nothing, that goes to the office of the vice president. So it means that the vice president still has, and of course, he has also been there in a joint ticket with the president. So he has to come up with his strategy. It's like a business now, a business that requires competition. You don't cry that, oh, this person is already monopolizing the society or the business, the market. All you need to do that, because you need to go there. You want to get it. So come up with your strategy. What is your strategy? You know that now you also have an advantage because you still have the government contact as a vice president. If he's visiting any state, the governor is responsible for his security and all that. But as an individual who is just going there to canvass for vote, you're on your own, so you cannot see,
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be back after this very short break. All right, it is still this morning on ITV. Thanks for, staying glued to ITV. Before the break, we're looking at the, of course, massive resignation in the Federal Executive Council, where about 10, but as we stand, I think 2 or 3 didn't go. They have to withdraw. Of course, we know the Minister of Labor is there, the Minister of Justice is there, and of course the Governor of Central Bank is also there. Okay, and it has been with a political analyst, Samuel Chimene. Before the break, we're looking at, of course, how it is with the vice president, who has to stay back because he's not an appointee. And the
option he has, because he's a fellow contestant, having free day now, crisscrossing the length and breadth of the country, while he still has to stay, do his job. But you're of the opinion that he can still move around, because in any state he goes to, the state governor must guarantee his security.
Exactly. All right, that's how it's supposed to be. And so I don't feel that the vice president has any disadvantage, because those other ministers has resigned, and then because they have ample time. Like I've said, it's not just about the vice president. It's not just about the vice president as an individual. Yes, he's the one seeking, but we should also have, a political team. He should have his think tank. What's their plan to reach out, to the governors who are still loyal to the office of the president? Let me just use that, because this is Nigeria, of course, where even as a governor, you think that except you are in the good book of the president, you can't, perform. And
you can't do much.
You can't do much. So most of them, their loyalty is still within the presidency, and the vice president is part of the presidency. So I think that he has quite chance of getting most of this government, because the delegates, again, in Nigerian politics, the delegates seem to also be under the governor. And that's why you see that the governors are very powerful, because it's the governors that delivers the delegates. Of course, I don't know what is going to happen. Let me not preempt what's going to happen in 2022 primaries and all that. But in the past elections, you will see where a whole state team are locked up like children, in a hotel, so that the governor gives instruction, nobody should leave the hotel, and on no account you see them go. They are too loyal to the governor. And so if the vice president can, the governors are always in the villa, so probably his own strategy is how to catch them in the villa.
You can always be inviting them to the villa.
Yes, just invite them to the villa for a
lunch.
tea and all that. And so,
okay, now let's look at a critical one. You know, for every economy, there is need for you to have both fiscal and monetary policy. While the fiscal deals with tax and spending, the monetary stabilizes the economy by way of interest rate, by way of, basically interest rates. If there's too much money in circulation, you know what to do. If the money has reduced, you also know what to do as the head of the monetary body. And it was funny when the news filtered in that there are vehicles branded with the name of the governor of Central Bank. But he disowned it that he knows nothing about those branded vehicles, and that he is not nursing ambition to run for the presidency come 2023. And not too long we saw form purchased, and not too long we saw him go to court and say, court, you need to declare me fit to contest the position, putting the AGF and INEC on notice. And while that was on, at the end of the day, it was just a funny one. Let's get your opinion concerning this particular one.
Well, I think the CBN governor, my brother, why I say my brother, every Niger Delta person, for me, I think it's a sincere prayer, that they help in every government to succeed, because Niger Delta also lays the golden egg. All right, so whatever any government that comes and don't involve the Niger Deltans or the South, for me, I think I wouldn't support that government. I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party, but the interest of my people, who are giving out the resources God has blessed them with, is very paramount. But I think I was to see that the CBN governor made a great mistake. Like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong in making an interest or having an intention to do something more. An ambition, thank you. To have a higher ambition. Of course, like we said earlier, spending from the government purse that they are not taking anything from your salary or whatever allowance you have, is a good temptation. It's a good temptation, for a lot of persons. But life, like they said, is a risk, but it must be a calculated risk. Now, for instance, I don't know that kind of risk he wants to take. And everybody there's always a precedence, there's always a track record. I don't know in the history of Nigeria, to my knowledge, I have never seen any CBN governor that stayed in the office and ran for any position. I have never seen that. So he should also learn, there's already a system, there's an act that established whatever you are going to do as a central bank governor. So why leave all those constitutional authorities or guidelines that brought you in? All right, why leave all the history that has been made in the central bank, and you want to be the first person, okay, to break that political or constitutional mandate that brought you as a CBN governor? I think he didn't calculate very well. He did not calculate very well, and all of us have said we already have a very dangerous economy. Our economy in the history. Okay, what is he going to tell Nigerians if he comes, like he's coming to campaign to us now, and said, in my time, because in his time we have had two recession. The economy has slipped into recession on 2 occasions under your watch as a CBN governor. The dollar, the naira is at the neck of breaking because the dollar is rising every day. So what is that thing you can now boastfully tell Nigerians that under my watch as the CBN governor, this is what I did. And this was how I saved the economy, the dying economy. And then, like we said, if the interest is now divided, because nobody is now talking about the interest of the president who has brought them, to assist him. Ngige made in his statement when he said he needs to go back to assist Buhari. So it means that your primary responsibility, yes, to the Nigerian people, but is to assist the man who is there. Mr. President will not tell you how the naira is going to be strong. That is why the CBN governor is there. So he has not chosen, to go after his own personal interests, against the overall interest of the Nigerians. Because if the economy is not good, it's affecting the masses, which he is no longer part of the masses. So that's his action. For me, is wrong. If he has people who has advised him, I think they are the wrongest advisors he has ever got.
Okay, let's quickly look at how the vacancies can be filled in the remaining days of this administration. Who should the president engage? Politicians, technocrats? Who should he engage?
I think the president shouldn't go for politicians, except, yes, not all politicians, because some politicians are also technocrats. Yes, they do good business. Most of them are there. But I think that because this is like the last year of his government, and whether we like it or not, point blank, there are a lot to be remedied, under this government. The few months that he has, he shouldn't go for politicians who their political ambition is more superior than his own interest. Okay, so he should go for technocrats who will try to bring the best of the experience, and expertise they have grown over years, to see how we can remedy part of, because virtually every aspect of Nigeria today is begging for an attention. So you don't need somebody who will come and play politics. You need somebody who knows that this is a business. Governance is business, so, and if you take somebody who will not allow his own business to suffer or to die, that's the kind of person, and not somebody who feels that if you sack me today, I go back to politics or whatever. No. You need to get people who will sit down, whose loyalty, whose interest is to see that the president succeed. Because he's the president. It doesn't matter the ministers. Nobody will call the ministers any day to come and account for the failure of the government. But everybody mentions the president on daily basis. He has NSA. He has Minister for Defense. But when you talk about the insecurity in Nigeria, who do they mention? It is the president. So that's why he has to rise. Thank God that as if God has answered our prayers, that it is time to even change most of these ministers. So since he didn't do it on their own, probably by divine providence, that they had to put in, their interest. I know that, of course, that is like testing the water, which so many of them, God had just pushed them away. The president have the right now, to look at people
he said he will replace them quickly.
We're waiting.
That quickly should be when?
I think
a week, a month?
Yeah, I think even in the Constitution, I can't remember the section now, that gave the president, the governors, 30 days, to appoint ministers in the case of the president and the governors or commissioners.
Here now is his replacement.
Yes, of course, but they still have to. You are not bringing somebody. You still have to go through the process. Yes, because they are fresh people. Yes, they must go. So it's the earlier, and I don't believe that by this time, the president have not also picked the people or haven't penciled down persons, because these other persons he knows or he knew that the very first time they indicated their interest, to vie for a position. All right.
Most of them informed him.
Yes, they informed him. All of them, virtually all of them, went for consultations. They want to take permission, to go. And for you, you know that Mr. ABC will be leaving your cabinet soon. So from that day, it should be proactive. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Samuel Chimene, for your time with us on the program this morning. Viewers, the much we have, looking at the massive exodus from the Federal Executive Council. Thank you so much.
It's a very good one. I think it's a blessing in disguise. So that we can have fresh blood inject into the system, and let's see how the magic this was. In a football match, dying minute and this will do. The person that changed, everyone's calling on the coach. Coach, change and bring this person. Let's see the magic this person is going to perform. And sometimes it works because the new person comes with a lot of energy.
Exactly 1 year left.
Exactly 1 year. So I think it's still 1 year. 1 year is a good time. To get serious people that can help remedy these situations.
These serious people must come from recommendations.
It is the president that appoints. You understand, like we said, he already knows that these people are going. So whoever, I saw in one of the social media things,
but lobbying. You also know that quota system will still be there.
Sir, my brother.
How many persons from Niger Delta,
by now, the president,
how many persons from South, how many persons from North Central,
the president
also follow.
This is somebody who has worked with party. He has worked with party for 8 years or more, close to 8 years. Now, you have governors from these zones. You have friends from this zone. You know those who are serious. Okay? Now, if you ask me today, to give you a name in Bauchi, I don't need to go to Bauchi State. Because over the years, I have also have friends and around associates in Bauchi State. Just one call. For instance, March, I went to Bauchi for a project. I only contacted 1 or 2 persons. Please, I'm coming to Bauchi. We have some associates. I even told my friend in South. Oh, my boss, I'm going to Bauchi. Oh, you don't know this person. Don't worry. Let me give you this person's number. And immediately, the person he gave me his number was not even in my own schedule or my mind. So he said, no, let me give you this person's number. He would deliver. The guy was there. He picked me from the park. He did everything. So just one phone call today.
All right.
Can settle this matters.
Thank you so very much for your time with us. We'll take a quick break.
When we come back, the program continues, and it will be the concluding segment of the program.